Might have to find somewhere new, I guess, this summer to get a break from the heat. Yeah. Or today even, or soon, this coming week. These temperatures already starting to feel more summer-like out there. Again, we're still hanging on to just a little bit of snow out there on the east slopes of the Sandias. That was the snow that, believe it or not, fell last Saturday. It's hard to believe that was just a handful of days ago that we picked up over 9 inches of snowfall in parts of the East Mountains with that storm system. Still hanging on to just a few very isolated patches of snowfall here up in the Sandias, but those are going to be gone over the next couple of days with more temperatures and more heat. That's going to be like what we saw today. We made it up to 83 this afternoon in Albuquerque, 12 degrees above average for this time of year and just 2 degrees shy of a record high temperature. We were in the upper 70s in Santa Fe, nearly 80 in Farmington, 70s up into southern Colorado and Taos along with northeastern New Mexico. While we were in the 80s up to I-40, including Santa Rosa and Tucumcari, along with much of southern New Mexico. Roswell was the warm spot today, climbing up to nearly 90 degrees this afternoon. We are still in the 70s down there tonight. It's 71 down in Deming. Here in Albuquerque, our temperatures just now dropped back into the upper 60s. We're still at 61 up in Santa Fe. Farmington still at 60 degrees tonight, but places like Cortez are already down into the 40s. Skies are mostly clear across New Mexico. We had a couple of spotty sprinkles up into parts of Colfax County, and then we also had a thunderstorm that moved through Lee County earlier this evening. It was a severe thunderstorm too, actually brought in quite a bit of hail just outside Hobbs earlier. And these thunderstorms developed along what's called a dry line. You could see that here. It's that difference between humid air off to the east with dew points in the 60s in Carlsbad and some very dry air off to the west, dew points down below in south central New Mexico. And it's that dry line that we really keep an eye on for where thunderstorms are going to develop, especially this time of year, because it usually brings us the chance for severe weather in parts of New Mexico. That dry line usually sits in eastern New Mexico, where you get that moisture up from the Gulf, drier air from the west, and where those two air masses meet, that forces the air upward. When you have plenty of moisture in the atmosphere, you rise that moist air up. That's going to create showers and thunderstorms almost every single time. And when those storms move into a more humid environment, the farther east you go especially, those storms can start to bring all types of severe weather. And we're still going to run into that threat for some strong to severe thunderstorms into the end of this week, but mainly for far eastern New Mexico tomorrow, into northeastern parts of the state on Friday. And then on Saturday, we're going to be looking at a much better chance for rain across the entire eastern half of New Mexico as that dry line surges westward. Some of that moisture spilling into the Rio Grande Valley by early Saturday morning, but that sharp dry line forms heading into the morning and afternoon hours. That's where we're going to be looking at a chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms starting as early as Friday night, by the way, with another round early Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon. That'll also keep temperatures much cooler Saturday across eastern New Mexico, while the rest of us will continue to hang on to this almost summer-like heat. We'll still see highs in the 70s through Saturday in Durango, and then a cold front's going to start moving through on Sunday into northwestern New Mexico as well, and that'll start bringing temperatures down into early next week, with highs eventually in the mid-60s on Monday in Farmington, down from a high of 80 on Saturday. We'll even get close to 90 this weekend across southwestern parts of New Mexico, but the winds on Sunday could pick up areas of dust into southwestern parts of the state. Good news and even better news about that rain that we're expecting to see on Saturday. It'll at least help to keep some of that dust down on Sunday when the winds do pick up and drier air moves into the eastern half of the state. It'll also bring temperatures back up to nearly 90 in Roswell, mid-70s in Las Vegas. But I will say that chance for rain on Saturday is looking better and better the closer we get to this weekend. So some much needed news for that part of the state. Highs are going to stay in the 70s in northern New Mexico and the East Mountains through this weekend until that cold front moves in Sunday night. And then that'll bring high temperatures back down to around average again for this time of year early next week. Unfortunately, we're not going to be looking at any rain here in Albuquerque, or we're talking about those rain chances in eastern New Mexico. In fact, highs are going to stay in the 80s through this weekend. Sunny and dry, even as temperatures get back down to around average again early next week.
All right, pretty steady there, Grant. Thank you.